the time you've been doing this, do you guys have like a classification for black people out here from California? Because I mean, this is the first. I'm telling you, niggas out here, we have never heard of all these different sects and type of categories of black people. Ain't nobody worried about that shit out here. So I'm just worried. Like, have you ever spoke to other Southern Californians, black people? I don't even know how you would classify us. Are we African Americans? Are we Black Americans? Are we like a different category, a fourth, third, fifth category? So I'm just curious on how your take on that, because man, it's pretty deep.
Oh, we know. Look,
the last
dude,
gentleman was
slow down.
speaking
Hold
about
on, hold on.
Lil Wayne and Birdman's heritage. I have never met a nigga who's worried about somebody else's heritage, let alone I've never really met niggas that worried about their own heritage. But I'm just curious. There are a lot of people out there who obviously are.
You want me to answer the question? I mean,
yeah,
okay,
come on,
okay,
let's go.
Okay, yeah, you asked me a question. I was going to answer, but okay.
Oh, sorry, I was just going on.
Okay. Yeah, brother, we know about lineage, and I live in California, right?
We're southern and northern.
I live in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay, that's what's up.
Yeah,
born and raised Los Angeles.
Right.
I'm out here in the IE now.
Right, but yeah, brother, we know about lineage out here in California. We know about our foundational Black American lineage. You know why we know? Because we got the reparations movement really popping out here. We got the task force popping. We had all types of reparations hearings based on lineage. We had them get the lineage language right first here in California. So enough of us do know about the lineage out here. Now let me ask you this. Now Golden.
Yeah.
Where's your family from?
No, that's what I was just gonna respond. I was just at my grandma's house in Inglewood for a family reunion like 2 weeks ago. And I know my family knows their lineage. I know they're proud to be who they are, but ain't nobody walking around talking about all the shit I hear on X. Like, niggas out here ain't really talking about that shit at the supermarket when you meet another black person. Like, hey, have you talked about the reparations that we're owed?
You just feel it wrong.
Ain't nobody talking about that shit. The first time in my life, born and raised.
Well, yeah, nobody's gonna talk. Slow down. Nobody.
I'm telling you, I lived that shit. I did my time, got out, got clean. I got a job. None of the homies in prison, out of prison, talking about all this shit I hear on X. So I'm just curious, do you categorize us a different way?
Okay. Yeah, when you go to the supermarket, nobody's going to really be talking about their lineage. That's not a supermarket conversation. You talk about lineage at a reparations hearing, that's where you're going to hear that. And you hear it in rooms that's specific about lineage. So yeah, you're not going to hear that at a supermarket. You're not going to hear that in general conversation. Most people are not having those kind of conversations in the street.
Sure. So you're from Southern California. How do you classify all the niggas out here who are not like you? Obviously, because you're obviously you're a little more sophisticated. So how do you classify everybody else who's not going around tooting that type of horn or going to that type of drum?
Like what tooting of the horn? What do you mean? Because your lineage is your lineage.
No, I know, I understand that. And so once you get past that, when do you just start focusing on yourself as an individual, working hard and just trying to be productive, as opposed to
once you get past
worrying about your lineage every day, talking about it every single day?
Well, you got to worry about your lineage because you got other groups who come over here who are not of the lineage, and they work as a group against ours. So we have to defend ourselves.
But yeah. No, and you're doing that, and you're representing for a lot of people who may be in that position.
No,
and being from Southern California, being out in LA.
Slow down. Are you familiar with those Hispanic politicians who were secretly recorded plotting against the black community here in LA?
Hit a nigga with some facts.
I was literally just talking to some Hispanics plotting against some blacks earlier in the pen. I don't know what you're talking about specifically, but I know what you're talking about in regards to.
Right, it goes deeper than that. We already know. We know what the pen.
That's every day, though.
We know what goes down in the pen, but this ain't even the pen. This was some politicians, elected officials, some years back.
It's not much different.
Right.
It's money. It's money.
Tariq, I don't know how you do this, bro.
Secretly recorded, plotting against black society out here, talking about diverting resources away from black communities to theirs. So this is a big thing.
I'm telling you what's happening with that, and that's a very interesting thing you just shared. That is connected to what's happening in the pens, because the same thing's happening to the black community in the pens as we speak. The Hispanics are much more organized than the brothers are. The brothers are turning on themselves and eating themselves in the pen right now, FYI, and it's hard in there for them.
They're not really. They're not.
I was there today, bro.
You in jail today? Are you a corrections officer?
Once upon a time, sir.
Right. Say that.
Because I'm not a corrections officer. I'm not going to tell my position, but
right.
I help.
You're in law enforcement, because you kept talking about jail, and you're not street. You're not a street guy in any sense of the word. I can hear that.
Hey, check it out.
Slow down. Slow down.
Check it out. The world is changing in ways you don't understand.
Slow down.
I was in the pen. I got my record expunged, and I do work for the state. But you telling me I'm not a street guy, bro? That's crazy.
You're not.
Fuck
I can tell by the way you're talking. You're not.
Bro, hey, how I'm talking? You're a J cat. I don't give a. Are you talking, bro?
Nah, yeah, you're too emotional.
Emotional, bro. I mean, I turned my life around. But I was locked the up. I was about that shit. I still am, but I do it for a living.
Sir. You're trying too hard. You're trying to sound
bro,
hard.
I ain't trying. I'm just speaking freely because this shit ain't recording. Even though some other niggas probably recording.
You're trying to sound hard. Calm down. You're not convincing nobody. You're a law enforcement.
You might have 10 years on me. I'm just saying, you trying to disrespect me.
Slow down. You're too emotional. You're a law enforcement guy. Let's stop with that. You're a law enforcement. So why are you trying to sound tough? You're a law enforcement. So what's this tough shit about? What's all that? You're in law. You just admitted you're in law enforcement. So why are you trying to sound like a G? That's what I'm trying to figure out. You sound like an informant, bro. You talk just like an informant talks. That's not an insult, bro. You sound like an informant. Golden, unmute your mic. Unmute your mic, Golden. And you
mute your mic.
How long have I been muted?
Yeah, you probably you talking. Yeah, what we do here is called order. You just don't go off and just think you're gonna go off. It's order. We have conversations here. We don't do all of that performative tough guy shit. That don't work here.
Well, just check what you say because you're saying some incorrect shit.
No, sir, or you sound like an informant. We know you work in law enforcement. So all of this street shit you're trying to do, that's not it. There ain't nobody buying that.
Hey, check it out. I'm sorry for just being myself. Had a couple beers, but yeah, once upon a time,
you just said you were in jail, so that you work in jail still.
Hey, check it out. Once upon a time, but right now I do work for the prison system, going in to work with black incarcerated and Hispanic and white incarcerated individuals.
You're law enforcement.
But for a living, I interact with the black community in prison, and for you to say it's not bad for them in there,
you law enforcement.
Disrespectful talking about you're in LA, bro. You can meet up any day, meet up halfway. I don't give a fuck.
You're in law enforcement.
What is going on?
I'm not. Check it out.
This is crazy.
You're a cop.
This is crazy.
So why are you trying to talk this tough shit? You're a cop.
Bro.
This ain't prison. See, you do that in
No. Shame on you. You know what? I did my time.
Stop. This is an informant. See, you talk like that when you got backup with you in prison. You understand? That works there because you got backup. But yeah, that don't work here, sir. Where's your family? Golden, where's your Golden? Where's your Golden? Golden.
You're disrespectful to the black community talking about they got it good in prison.
I didn't say they had it good in prison.
This nigga said you talk.
No, I didn't.
He didn't even say that.
Now you sound like a
about they aren't struggling.
Now you sound like a lying. No, I didn't say none of that shit. I never said they had it good in prison. I didn't say that.
They're not struggling in prison with the.
You said they're eating themselves. No, they're not. They're not.
Hey, check it out. Young niggas in prison right now are turning up on the OGs. I was just talking politics today with some of the heads. Where
is your family from? Is your family from Belize?
This is crazy.
Because you keep skirting that question. I've asked you about 5 times, and you're doing all of this performative crashing out to skirt that, to avoid that. Is your family Belizean?
No, my dad's from Memphis.
Where else is your family from?
Memphis and LA. My mom's from LA, California, usually Northern California. Came down to Southern California. My dad, when his family moved out here from Memphis, I'm from Southern California, LA, born and raised, moved out to the IE. When shit started getting hot out there, my parents lived through the Watts riots. Turned my life around, got locked up, did my time at YTS and the YA. You over here talking about I'm on some bullshit. Bro, you don't know me.
Yeah, you trying to sound too tough. You sound like...
All right, man, hold on, man. I'm done with this nigga, bro. I'm not finna keep listening to that. That's enough. I wish Tariq was just talking about some black people shit, but I don't want to hear this. This is form of arts, my nigga. I don't know what the fuck that is, man. This shit is crazy. He sound crazy.
I make this shit look easy. 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 I see what I like, then I go out and get it. I make changes, that's why I'm different. I see it before it happens, that's vision. Telling myself I know I like this.